Upon learning about Bitcoin, I proceeded to investigate it further and came upon the story of Satoshi Nakamoto, a man who had previously self-identified as such. So I went ahead and searched Google for Satoshi Nakamoto, and Intelligence Central was the result. The surname Nakamoto is associated with families from Japan's central provinces, while the word Satoshi implies intelligence. That sounds a lot like the Central Intelligence Agency CIA, Mike. Alright, so what if the NSA, CIA, or someone else actually made this? Even if these assertions are true, Bitcoin will be unaffected by the inventor's intended endpoint, according to Mark Yusko, a famous hedge fund manager and Bitcoin enthusiast. The powers that be needed a successor for the dollar that they could still control, so they could be behind Bitcoin, according to Yusko, who explained this in a recent interview. Additionally, Yusko concedes that Bitcoin does not have a backdoor. However, he is uncertain whether this holds true for other centralized cryptocurrencies as well. Watch as Yusko talks about the impending collapse of the current monetary system, how Bitcoin came to be, and the final chapter in this conversation, which we will share with you. I may be pronouncing his name incorrectly, but Nakoshi Sakamoto is essentially a homonym, but what if the National Security Agency, NSA, the CIA, or someone else did in fact develop this? If you rewind 2 years to 2007, there was a report commissioned by the NSA that was produced by this man. Plus, it's an actual human being. For NTTT in Japan, he oversaw cryptography. A peer-to-peer system was the main topic of discussion. Well, that's strange. Is it possible that the NSA was behind its creation and that they anticipated the dollar's demise while they were designing it? Then? How did they know? Starting in 1776, when the Republic was established, we separated ourselves from our parent company in the UK and established this small business in the US. A dollar was also worth $1 from 1776 until 1913. It was still worth $1, however it fluctuated slightly throughout the Great Depression and the war. Due to the absence of a central bank, inflation did not occur. By 1913, we had already mimicked the Dutch National Bank by imitating the Bank of England. Okay, so in 1607, the first central bank was the Dutch National Bank. This helps to explain, at least in part, how the relatively little nation of the Netherlands, about the size of Ohio, conquered the Spanish Armada. Therefore, consider that. Thus, Portugal was the most powerful nation in the world and the reserve currency of the world until Spain annexed them. And then, out of nowhere, the little Netherlands conquers Spain. Reason being, they just printed money to pay the mercenary troops. As a result, they become slightly overextended, scatter their population over the globe in search of a permanent home, and are eventually conquered by Napoleon. For the time being, the French assume control. However, the Bank of England was established by a group of individuals from the Rothschild line who arrived in the UK. After that, steamships were funded by the Bank of England. Thus, they succeeded France. As we broke away from the UK, we also established this in 1913. Coincidentally, the same year the Federal Reserve was established. A great deal of debt was accrued when the United Kingdom invaded Mesopotamia. The value of the pound began to plummet. In the subsequent 31 years, the United States, a small, unheralded power, suddenly rose to dominance. I thought the British Empire was eternal. The world's earned currency was the pound sterling. By far, it was the strongest. But we went nuclear and established Bretton Woods, wherein all countries agreed that the US dollar would be the reserve currency of the world. Thus, the United States has been in first place since 1944, mostly due to its naval might. The intriguing part is that the central bank has complete control over all of it. But how exactly do they accomplish it? The value of their money is something they can influence, taking the money and sending it to the very top over and again. Somebody was motivated by the near collapse of 2007 and 2008 and the massive money printing that central banks did in response. Because they thought the crisis had shown everyone enough about the trust system, Yusko's affectionate term for the old-fashioned banking system, they took advantage of the chance to release their long-awaited product. Neither the CIA nor the NSA are required. Anyone who stops to think about how much value fiat currencies have lost in the last half-century or more can see the deterioration of our financial system. Return to the interview with Yusko. My first argument was that, regarding Satoshi Nakamoto, I had the following thought: what if the government realized that devaluing the currency was their only option? Only then would I be able to address your second half. So when they get into debt, they will demonetize the dollar just like every other republic has demonetized its currency throughout history. Empires have always fallen for the same predictable reasons. Their currency crashes when they are overly indebted. If that's the case, they secretly convert all the fiat money into Bitcoin and then take it? Is that possible? It seems we've struck it rich, hence Morgan Creek Digital. Scott Stornetta is a buddy of ours and a venture partner. It was actually Scott Stornetta and Stuart Haber that came up with the word blockchain in 1991. The Bitcoin white paper mentions him 3 times in the back. The text includes 8 footnotes. 13 of them are his. When it comes to technology, he's an expert. So I went ahead and asked him, "Well, I've given this some thought," I mentioned. Well, he responded, "To be honest, I've never given that much consideration. I find that idea intriguing." No, Ben, that was quick. He declined. What on earth are you trying to say? The National Security Agency NSA could have been the developer, he believes? Truly, it's within the realm of possibility. The inventor. He goes by a pseudonym, so no one knows his real identity, but hey, it could work. However, due to the air gap, your conception of the backdoor cannot be realized in Bitcoin. With Ethereum, he claimed a backdoor could be possible. The effect is shocking. So that's a subject for another time. Bitcoin cannot be confiscated by the government, which is the main argument against it. Doesn't it mean it's decentralized? Even the government couldn't pull it off unless they simultaneously compromise 51% of the computer system. Can they legislate against it? Would Executive Order 6102 be similar to 1933? Well, this is hilarious as well. Essentially, gold is made prohibited on Executive Order 610245-33. The exact birthday of Satoshi Nakamoto is 4575. The number 45 is a reference to the reversal of Executive Order 6102, which made gold lawful again. The 75 is the year of that event. Holy cow! Quite untamed. Government agencies couldn't possibly steal all of Satoshi's value if they tried. Then, why would they go ahead and do it? Perhaps they see this as a superior system than the dollar, and they want to establish dominance with a large wallet before selling it when it's worth a ton of money. Can they legislate against it? They can make an effort, but they will not be able to take it away from you. Do you understand what I mean? Simply said, they have the ability to confiscate your cryptocurrency if it is stored at Coinbase or another central location such as MT. Ox. That is subject to certain regulations. You would think they would have a good justification to seize your assets from your brokerage account, however. The government is skilled at inventing justifications. They just take Russian assets without any justification. Well, that's fine, but how about if you store it offline on a ledger drive? I propose we meet at your place, and you can offer me your seed phrase. No, I completely disregarded that. Any parent can put a gun at their child's head. Will armed officials from the government show up at your door and threaten you and your loved ones? I seriously doubt it, but hey, everything goes in a Mad Max universe. That being said, it's completely risk-free due to its decentralized nature.